Hi everyone, back with Bassington. I hope you're all keeping well. I'm going to reshoot my vlog for the Beretta DT11 for the simple reason I've owned this gun for over 2 years, and I think there are things I can add to it which aren't in the original vlog. But I apologise to those who've seen the original vlog because a lot of this will self-repeat. As you can see, the gun is empty. Now the Beretta DT11 is Beretta's competition box log shotgun. It has an Olympic pedigree, although there is no way that I'm ever going to become an Olympic shooter. It comes in sort of 3 formats. It comes in a sporter format, a skeet format, and a trap format. And you can get different grades. There's a DLC version, there's an L version, there's a EE/LL version. This is a 32-inch gun, sporter version with the plain action, but it also has an adjustable cone. I'll start with the rear of the gun. It comes with Beretta's interchangeable pad system, very easy to use. I actually bought this pad, it is actually a Beretta pad, just to give me a slightly longer length of pull, which is actually 14 3/4. This particular gun came with a length of pull of 14.5 inches. It comes with a grade 3 wood. The wood on this gun is very, very nice. I have to say the match to the fore end is very good as well. And when we're talking about wood, I have to say the wood to metal fit is good. Speaking of fit, the metal to metal fit on this gun is truly exceptional. Nice, swept back pistol grip, slight palm swell, not a heavy palm swell, I'd describe it as. And the fore end is also very nice as well. It's about 3 fore ends you can choose. There's a London fore end, a Schnabel fore end, which I went for, and there's also a beaver tail. I went for the beaver tail fore end just to get that closest to the barrels. The checkering is only laser, but it's not a coarse checkering, it's quite smooth. So, some laser checkering doesn't have a pleasant feel in the hands, this does. When you come to the actual action of the gun, this is where it changes from other Berettas in the series, such as the 680 series, such as the 690 series. It's a real chunk of the action. You can see the action fences are designed to take a heavy load there. Even the barrel selector and the safety selector is very, very substantial, way more substantial on any other Beretta I've owned. The top lever, funny enough, is the same top lever from the 694. It was probably on the DT11 before they put it on the 694. Very, very, very easy to use. One thing I forgot to mention is the drop of the cone is 35mm and the drop of the heel is 55mm. We flip the gun over and you will see it has the detachable trigger system, which is an adjustable trigger as well. I'm not going to remove it when recording the vlog. It has coil springs, sorry, it has leaf springs, I beg your pardon, not coil springs on the gun. The trigger pulls are very, very good, but there is an issue I've had there, which I'll talk about later as well. If I open the gun, you will see there is the crossbolt locking mechanism that locks into 2 lugs on the breech, that then locks, when you close it, that locks in to the breech face. So you realise that this is a really, really solid action. It's designed to take a lot of rounds. The barrels are made from this Stellium Pro. It's helps reduce the recoil, gives better patterns to it as well, and stops the muzzle flip. Interesting enough, if I remove the fore end, the barrels are floated, ventilated, and then solid. The fore end is a substantial piece too as well. It's just a 1 lever latch, but it's a real solid fore end on the gun. The top rib is ventilated, runs from 10mm through to 8mm with a white bead. The chambers are 3 inches and the barrels are actually bored to 18.6. The forcing cones in this gun are actually 22 inches. The barrels are 32 inches in length and the forcing cones are actually 22, so quite long forcing cones. It comes with Optima HP chokes, comes with a set of 5. You have cylinder, skeet, quarter, half, 3/4. I tend to shoot with tight chokes, so I bought a second 3/4 choke. So, issues with the gun. One thing I forgot to mention, I have this gun balanced on the hinge pin because it comes with a set of stock weights, and it comes in at over 9 pounds and 2 ounces. So issues with the gun, probably too strong an adjective, I'd say more niggles with the gun. The first thing is, it comes with the same case that you get with the Beretta 694, which, you know, is a substantially cheaper gun. And what else do you get with it other than the 694? Well, I've mentioned you get the weights for the comb, you get some snap caps, and you get some socks, and that's about it. And I think that's a bit mean of Beretta, as is the grade of wood. It's only a grade 3. The 694 comes with a grade 2.5. And you know, most guns at this price point come at a grade 5. So I think Beretta could up the stakes there a bit. Now, I touched on this a bit. The gun actually took me a long time to set up, okay? And I had to fiddle around with the pad, the weight in the combs, the position of the comb, the adjustable comb, and the trigger. But as a result of that, when I got the gun set up how I wanted, and that took several months, I've noticed there was a little bit of playback on the trigger. And the trigger pulls are fantastic, but as the recoil comes through, the trigger had a tendency just to dig into my finger. And similarly, because obviously, I'll probably turn around there, the fore end, it would have a tendency just to jolt forward, like so. Now, I haven't had that happen on any other Beretta before. I think it's because I've got this gun very tightly and very precisely set up for me. You'll have to excuse the dogs in the background there. And I have found a solution to that, and that is to wear gloves. And I'll talk about that in a separate vlog. The other thing about the gun is, boy, oh boy, was it tight. It's taken a lot of rounds to loosen this gun up. And I think that's in part due to the crossbolt locking mechanism. I've never had a gun that has been so tight when I bought guns previously that are new, like the 694, and this has taken a tremendous amount of rounds. And that's something that I could say was a little bit frustrating. A friend of mine said, you know, don't take it to gunsmith, don't get it loosened off, just go and slowly work it through. And that's what I've done, and it is a lot looser. It's reassuring though that the gun is still very, very tight, and you know, can take a tremendous amount of rounds through. But it is a sort of, I would say, an issue as well, or a niggle, is the adjective I prefer. Now, I'll talk about those individually. I mean, I'm not fussed about the case that comes with it. I'm not fussed about the wood. I have to say the wood on this is fabulous. It certainly feels more than grade 3. I buy a gun for the engineering. You know, if I want to buy a gun with a nice piece of wood, a nice case, perhaps some endorment on the action, I'll buy the EELL version of this. So that's not an issue. As I've already intimated, the playback on the trigger and on the fore end, I think is caused by me spending a lot of time on getting this gun correctly fitted. And it is correctly fitted. And that's probably the first gun I've ever done that with. Most guns I just walk out the gun shop and shoot, but I was only shooting on average about once every 4 to 6 weeks. This I've been shooting about once a fortnight, basically because, as I say, I've invested in the gun. And I found a solution, you know, around that problem with regard to wearing gloves, and I will talk about in a separate vlog. And also, with regard to being very tight, that's reassuring, because you know that this gun is designed to take a lot of rounds. So, what do I think of it? I think it's absolutely superb. I think it has definitely improved my shooting. You know, there is no muzzle flip to this gun. There is no veering off to the left. As you all realize, I shoot left-handed. It does exactly what you want it to do. It comes up beautifully. Yes, it weighs 9 pounds and 2 ounces. It doesn't feel like a gun that weighs 9 pounds and 2 ounces. And you know, I'm a Beretta fanboy. You know, I've owned several of them. But the other reason I bought this gun was the price. You know, I shortlisted the Blaser F3, the Perazzi High-Tech, the Krieghoff K80. And prior to Brexit, the cheapest gun was the Blaser F3. It was about £1,500 cheaper than the DT11. The Perazzi was sort of neck and neck on price with the Beretta. The Krieghoff was always dearer. What's happened is the Blaser, in a left-handed format with adjustable cone, is actually dearer. It's dearer by about £500. The Perazzi's jumped up literally a few thousand pounds more, and the Krieghoff's has got even dearer. This is, although it's gone up in price, it's stayed very, very competitive. And I think that's a very compelling proposition. But, you know, it's not just price I took into account, it's because I think it is a wonderfully engineered gun. It is beautifully balanced. It's designed to take a lot of rounds. It will, you know, last for many, many years. And probably the lifetime of this gun, it will probably have several owners. Which brings me on to the other proposition. I think it is a cracking proposition secondhand. I really do. I think if you're looking at a mid-range sport of say a 694, perhaps the new Browning 825 Pro Sport, have a look at one of these. Yes, it may be slightly dearer secondhand, but if you get a good example of these, it is cracking value. It really is. Someone else would have taken, you know, the depreciation on it. Unfortunately, I shoot left-handed, and as a result of that, I had to buy new. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the vlog and stay tuned.